rotating joint. The retention line is all that held it off. It's barber chaired. It's barber chaired. Would have hit the house for sure without the retention line.
All right, hi, it's Daniel Murphy, and I just wanted to touch base with you about this particular video. It's an excellent learning tool, this video. There's some great things we could see, mistakes that were made, why those mistakes caused the tree to do what it did, what could have been done differently. This is a classic barber chair, and we'll go over how the whole tree was set up, what I think are probably maybe two or the three most important things to learn, and then we'll look at some of the other mistakes that were made so that we can learn everything we possibly can from this video. This video was produced by Nick Bonner. He gave me permission to use the video as a teaching tool here. He asked me to make sure I mentioned his channel on YouTube is Bonner Vision. He's now also working for treestuff.com. So Tree Stuff, we got to thank them for having this available as well. This is a co-dominant maple that broke out. There's some decay there where the old branch union used to be. It's got a significant lean towards the house, a back lean and a side lean. Obviously, if you can fall this tree without climbing it, that's going to be a good thing. Let's look at the plan that was developed by the people that were dropping this tree in their own words. See if we can figure this out. He's using some type of system with his fingers there to determine the drop zone by estimating the height of the tree. And now he's going to walk off the amount of side lean so he can figure out where the tree is going to fall versus where he's going to aim the notch towards.
I want it to land over here, but if this is my target, if I'm going to hold this against the lean, I got to go 90 degrees or up to where my target is, which is going to put me in at that maple way back there. Tree, as you can see, has considerable lean. In our felling plan, we've designated the cone on the right as our ultimate target for the tree and the edge of the brush. Based on our evaluation of the crown lean and trunk lean, this cone is our target for gunning the notch. We're pulling the tree with a good rigging control system, rigged up and tied to the base, and a retaining line has been set at 90 degrees to the intended face of the notch.
So that's the plan. Let's take a look at what went wrong. The primary cause for this barber chair, in my opinion, is a low back cut. Take a look at where the notch is and where that upper shelf of the back cut is. In this next shot, you can see that the back cut is below the apex of the notch. There it is right there. When the back cut is even slightly below the apex of the notch, it takes a lot more force to get the hinge to start moving. So in order to get the tree moving, he has to put more force on the pull line. That force became the energy necessary to split the trunk and cause the barber chair. This tree had major structural issues. We can see in this opening shot, there's a lot of decay associated with that codom tear out. Also, if you look carefully at the piece on the ground after the barber chair, in this highlighted section, you can clearly see a large vertical crack running up the main trunk. Of course, it's horizontal now, the trunk's on the ground. So this tree was definitely going to be prone to barber chair. Another question people have about this cut is, did the bypass of the back cut, that little step cut or the snap cut of the back cut, cause this piece to barber chair? And in my opinion, no, that didn't have much to do with it. Although it possibly could have, this is the earliest picture of the barber chair that we have. The fibers between the two bypass cuts of the back cut have already separated, and by this time, if you look where that white arrow is pointing, you could see that a small vertical crack has started to develop that will eventually become the barber chair. So we don't know for sure. If he had made a different back cut, he might have come up with a different result. How could this barber chair have been prevented? Do you see the line that's tied around the tree there? The pull line was fished through the top of the tree, through a crotch, and then tied off at the base of the tree. But it was tied off high, and I'm wondering why they did tie it off high. In any case, Had that rope been tied lower, the pressure that exerted of squeezing the trunk together would have helped to prevent the barber chair. Wouldn't necessarily prevent it, but would have helped to slow it down or prevent it. The other thing you can do anytime you think a tree has the possibility of barber chairing is simply take a short piece of rope and wrap it just above the notch there, wrap it multiple times, or take a 5 or 10,000 pound trucker strap and strap it up so that there's no way the trunk can split. And what else can we learn from this video? If you recall, he's got the two cones set up in this picture. The cone on the left is where he's aiming or gunning the notch for. The cone on the right is where he expects the edge of the brush or the top of the tree to land.
In our felling plan, we've designated the cone on the right as our ultimate target for the tree and the edge of the brush. Based on our evaluation of the crown lean and trunk lean, this cone is our target for gunning the notch.
The tree landed much more towards the cone on the left, which was where the notch was supposed to aim, but not where the tree was supposed to end up. Clearly, he missed both the intended lay, the direction of fall, and he misestimated the drop zone by misestimating the height of the tree. If you take a look at how close this tree came to that little shrub right there, you'll see he got very, very close to that and well past this cone on the left here, which was supposed to be where the top of the tree ended up. And because this tree barber chaired, the butt of that trunk actually ends up 4 feet back past the stump. If that wasn't the case, that fall would have been 4 feet further and taken that shrub out. The ability to accurately determine your drop zones, basically to stand there and look at a tree and be able to say, this tree will either fit here or it won't, is a crucial skill in suburban tree work. So there are a number of different ways I use to do that. There's another video I made showing the use of the stick trick, which was originally featured in a book by Jeff Jepson called The Tree Climber's Companion, a highly recommended book. There are modern range finders that allow the loggers use, very effective way of accurately determining the height of these trees. So let's take a look at why the tree might have gone off the desired direction of fall. He wanted it to fall to the cone to the right. It ended up falling towards the cone to the left. One of the things the faller mentioned earlier in the video was that he was going to set up a retainer line, I call it a right angle retainer line, on a maple tree in the back because that was 90 degrees to the aim or the gun of his notch. So this is the retainer line here, and rather than having it secured to the base of this maple tree, he has it running through this X rigging ring and it's high on the tree, which is definitely going to throw the angle of the retainer line off. If you're running a 90-degree right angle retainer line, it's got to be at ground level. So not only is it not at ground level, but because he's got it run through that sling is coming a couple of feet to the right of the tree. Between the two of those things, he's definitely going to be throwing the angle of that retainer line off. We're not 100% sure why did that tree do what it did. Why did it come further left than he thought it was going to come? It split, it twisted, it came down to the left. Why did it do that? That's what I like to wrap my mind around, and that's what I love about videos, because you can watch this video over and over again and think, how did this happen? Why did it happen? Watch it in slow motion. And that's exactly what we're going to do here at this forum. We're going to keep watching these videos in slow motion till we understand what happened and why. Video never lies. Analyze it and try to learn from it. If you've seen anything that I might have missed in this one, let me know. There's been a lot of conversation and a lot of people have different opinions about what might have caused this tree to barber chair. And send me your videos too. If you have a video that you think we can learn something from, I really want to see it. And thank you, Nick Bonner, who made the video, for having the courage to post this online where he was opening himself up for a lot of criticism. And I know he did it because he thought it was a good piece for people to learn from, and he wants to forward the whole industry. So thank you, Nick. While Nick's video shows a fairly uncommon cause for barber chair, this video here, in my opinion, shows what is the most prevalent cause for barber chair. And I'm going to analyze this video. I'm going to show you the details of why I think a Dutchman caused this barber chair. And just look how dangerous this can be. So that's in another video coming up. Hope you check it out. Daniel Murphy, thanks a lot for watching.